Hello and welcome to this Fears and Phobias hypnotherapy session to ease the fear of planning. This session will help your unconscious mind begin to feel calmer, clearer, and more capable when thinking about the future. Maybe planning has sometimes felt too rigid, too demanding, or too loaded with pressure. And maybe the moment you try to organize things, set dates, make lists, or think ahead, there was some part of you that began to tense up, to resist, to avoid the situation, and to drift away. And that part of the mind may have only been trying to protect you from disappointment, from overwhelm, or from the fear of getting it wrong. The thing to remember is planning is not a prison. It's simply a friendly map. And a map doesn't force the journey, it merely helps you see where the paths may lead. Plans can be flexible. They can change as you change. And because you're not required to know every answer before you begin, you can begin to feel safer with the idea of small steps, gentle structure, and useful direction. Your old fear may have confused planning with pressure, and now your mind can begin to separate those things. You can plan calmly, you can choose freely, and you can adjust easily. You can move forwards one simple step at a time. And as you listen today, you might find that the future starts to feel less like a test and more like a landscape. Something you can enter with curiosity, something you can shape with your intelligence, something that responds to you. And so you can just settle in now in a place where you can relax undisturbed for a while. And just begin to make yourself comfortable. And in a few moments, as you begin to become comfortable, your unconscious mind can prepare to learn new and better responses. And as you relax, either sitting or lying down, you can take a comfortable breath in now. And then let it out slowly. And as you settle there, you can just allow your eyes to rest on one spot. Any spot, just gently noticing it. There's no need to stare hard at it, just let your attention rest there, while your body begins to discover that it can become still, calm and receptive. In a moment, I'll ask you to close your eyes, and when you do, you can send a wave of relaxation from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And you can do that now. Just close your eyes and let that relaxation just flow down your body. Now let the eyelids relax so completely that they feel as though they just don't need to work. Relax every tiny muscle around the eyes. Smooth out the forehead. Soften the cheeks. Let the jaw loosen. And when you know those eyelids are so relaxed that they'd rather remain closed, you can test them gently and find that they stay relaxed. Good. Stop testing and go deeper And now take that relaxation and let it flow down through your face, your neck and your shoulders, down your arms, into your hands, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Let it move through the chest and the stomach, through the backs, the hips, the legs, into the feet, all the way down to the tips of the toes. And in a moment I'll count down from 5 to 1. And with each number you can double that relaxation. 5. Deeper now. 4. Letting the body become heavy, loose and calm. 3. As if every unnecessary effort is melting away. 2. The mind becoming quieter. And 1. Deeply relaxed. In a moment, I'll ask you to imagine a row of numbers from 100 down. And you can begin counting silently and slowly from 100 backwards, allowing each number to fade away as you go deeper. And after only a few numbers, you may discover the numbers disappearing completely. And just begin now. 100 deeper. 99 fading. 98 drifting. And just let them all disappear now. That's right. And the conscious mind can rest, while the unconscious mind listens, learns and responds. And as you rest here, listening to my words and the spaces between the words, you can imagine or sense or simply know that you're standing at the beginning of a quiet pathway. This is a gently winding path, soft underfoot and easy to follow. On either side of you there may be fields or trees or open sky, or perhaps a beautiful garden that seems to arrange itself in exactly the way your mind finds most comforting. And as you begin to walk along that path, each step takes you deeper into comfort. With the first step, the body relaxes. The second, the breathing settles. The third, the mind becomes clear. And you don't need to know exactly where the path leads, because the path itself knows how to unfold. Perhaps you notice the air cool enough to refresh you, warm enough to soothe you. Perhaps there's sunlight through the leaves. The sound of water somewhere nearby, or the feeling of spaciousness opening up all around you. And as you walk, you may notice little markers along the path, not demanding signs, not instructions, just gentle markers. One says you can pause, another says you can choose, and yet a third says you can change direction and still be safe. And every marker allows some old pressure to loosen, the shoulders to soften, the stomach to release, the hands to relax. And ahead of you there's a gentle slope leading down into a valley of calm planning. A place where the future is not something to fear, but something to meet peacefully. And as I count down from 10 to 1, with each number you can drift down that slope, deeper and deeper. 10, stepping down. 9, more calm. 8, more ease. 7, the old fear loosening. 6, the mind opening. 5, halfway down now. 4, safe and steady. 3, quiet inside. 2, almost there. And 1, arriving now. And in this valley, planning feels different. It feels spacious, flexible, gentle, like arranging stones across a stream, one at a time, only needing to see the next stone. And now, in this calm inner place, you can begin to understand something important at a level deeper than words. Planning is not the same as being trapped. Planning is not the same as being judged. It's not the same as losing freedom or planning is simply giving kindness to your future self. Perhaps there was once a time when some part of your mind learned to associate planning with pressure. Maybe plans once meant expectations, or meant disappointment if things changed. Maybe they meant the uncomfortable feeling of being locked into something before you felt ready. And if the unconscious mind once decided that planning was dangerous, then avoidance may have seemed useful for a while. But now you're here, older, wiser, more capable, and the unconscious mind can update that old response. You don't need to avoid planning to stay free. You can plan and remain free, organize and remain relaxed, choose a direction, and still be able to adjust. And your plan can create a structure that supports you instead of confining you. And I wonder how soon you'll begin to realize that a plan is not a command, it's a conversation with possibility. Just imagine that in front of you there's a large table made of smooth wood. On that table are simple objects, a blank page, a pencil, a small compass, a calendar with empty pages, and a lantern glowing warmly. The blank page doesn't demand perfection. It simply waits. The pencil doesn't demand certainty. It can write, rewrite, and refine. The compass doesn't demand a full route. It simply points towards what matters. The calendar doesn't control you. It just helps time become visible. And the lantern lights only the next few steps, because that is all you ever need. Now place your hand gently on that table in your imagination and feel a calm, steady knowing move through you. You can begin small. You can choose one thing, make one note, take one step. And the moment you begin small, the old fear begins to lose its purpose. Fear often grows in the darkness, but planning, gentle planning, brings a little light. Not too much, just enough. I once knew a hiker who feared maps. Every time someone gave him a map, he imagined the whole journey all at once. Mountains, rivers, storms, distances and delays. He would become so overwhelmed that he would stay where he was. He thought he was afraid of travelling, but what he was really afraid of was the imagining of every challenge at the same time. One day he was told that he didn't have to walk a whole map, that he could walk one piece of ground, the ground beneath his feet. And he looked down and saw that the ground beneath him was simple, one step then another, and the map stopped being a burden. It became a quiet companion folded in his pocket. And from that day forwards, he used maps differently, not to frighten himself with every possibility, but to reassure himself that he could choose, pause, adjust, and continue. And your mind can learn that now. You don't plan everything to control everything. You plan enough to support the next movement. And you don't need a perfect plan. You need a kind plan, a flexible plan. You need a plan that respects your energy, your values, your timing, and your ability to adapt. And so now, let your unconscious mind bring to awareness some area of life where planning has felt difficult. Maybe it's a task or a project, a conversation, a goal, the week ahead or a financial decision, maybe a career step or just something personal. You don't need to force, just let one example gently come forwards. And as it appears, imagine placing it gently on that table. Not inside your body, not looming over you, just there on the table, where you can look at it calmly from a little distance. That's right. Now notice what happens when you make it smaller. Shrink it down to a manageable size. Let the colours become softer. Let the edges become a little less sharp. Let the sound of any pressure fade into the distance. And now beside it, place 3 simple stones. The first stone represents what matters. The second stone, what's the next small step? And the third, when will I gently begin? That's enough. Not 20 stones, not the entire mountain, just 3. What matters? What's the next small step? And when will I gently begin? And you can feel how different that is. Calm, clear, possible. And perhaps your unconscious mind can answer without words. Perhaps it answers with a feeling, a picture, a sense of direction. And whatever comes is enough for now. And from this point forwards, whenever planning appears, your mind can automatically simplify it. Instead of seeing a giant tangled future, you can see the next useful step. Instead of freezing, you breathe. Instead of avoiding, you soften. And instead of saying, I have to figure it all out, you can say inside, just the next clear step. And that phrase can become deeply useful. Just the next clear step. Let that settle in. Just the next clear step. And the body can learn that planning is safe. The chest remains open, the stomach remains calm, the shoulders are loose, the hands are steady, and the mind is flexible. Now imagine a future version of yourself not far away, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps later this week, encountering a moment when you used to avoid planning. Watch that future you pause, breathe, and feel calm. See how they don't rush, they don't pressure themselves, they simply bring out the blank page, the pencil, the compass, and the lantern. And they ask, what matters? What's the next small step? When will I gently begin? And you can see how natural it becomes. Now drift into that future you. Become that version of yourself from the inside. See through those eyes, hear through those ears. Feel that calm steadiness in the body. Notice how good it feels to have a little direction. How freeing it feels to stop carrying vague pressure. How satisfying it feels to create a small plan and then let the mind rest. And once something is written, chosen, or scheduled, the mind doesn't have to keep circling around it. The plan can hold the thought, so you don't have to. And now it's time to bring this session to a close. In a few moments you can begin returning to ordinary waking awareness. Bring with you the calm, the clarity, and your new relationship with planning. But before you come all the way back, take one more look around your planning room within and notice the table. Notice the lantern and the simple tools waiting there for you. And know that whenever you need to think ahead, choose a step, organize a task, or shape a direction, this calm part of your mind can be available. You don't have to force it. You don't have to be perfect. You simply return to the next clear step. In a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5, and as I reach 5, your eyes will open. You'll feel wide awake, feeling refreshed, grounded, and clear. 1, beginning to return now, bringing calm planning with you. 2, feeling the energy gently coming back into the body, the arms and legs. 3, breathing a little more deeply, noticing the surface beneath you, the room around you. 4, feeling clearer and steadier, as if the mind has made space and the body knows how to remain relaxed while thinking ahead. And 5, eyes open when you're ready, wide awake, refreshed, calm, and present. And as you return, you can notice that something has shifted, maybe subtly at first, maybe more clearly. The old fear doesn't need to run the old pattern in the same old way. Your mind has rehearsed a new response, and that response can continue developing naturally. And from this point forward, whenever you think about planning, a part of your mind can automatically remember to breathe, soften, and simplify. And whether you notice it consciously or only realize it later, you might find yourself asking, what matters? What's the next small step? And when will I gently begin? These questions can arise naturally, like a helpful inner voice, calm and practical. And each time you write something down, choose a step, set a gentle timer, or adjust the plan without self-criticism, that new pattern becomes stronger. And even if a little old hesitation appears, it can simply become a reminder to pause, to breathe, and return to the next clear step. Thank you for joining me on this session today. You've given your mind time to practice a calmer, clearer way of meeting the future. Let these changes continue to settle in naturally as you move through the coming days. Small steps can create surprisingly powerful freedom. And until next time, goodbye and good mental health.